Have you ever sat quietly in your favorite chair, looking out the window, and thought, there are feelings I've carried for years, but maybe I should keep them to myself? If you have, you're not alone. Growing older brings a special kind of wisdom, a quiet understanding that not everything needs to be said out loud, even to those we love most. As parents, we've poured ourselves into our children. From their first steps to their first heartbreaks, we've been there. We've sacrificed time, energy, and even our dreams to give them the best chance in life. And we did it all out of love. But now, as the years pass and we look back more deeply, a new question arises. What should we say, and what should we leave unsaid? This isn't about hiding who we are or being dishonest. It's about recognizing that sometimes silence is a gift that spares those we love from carrying our regrets, disappointments, or the aches settled deep in our bones and memories. In this gentle conversation, I want to talk with you, just you and me as friends, about 7 things we might want to share with our children, but perhaps shouldn't. Not because we're ashamed, but because wisdom means knowing when to speak and when to hold space quietly. Let's start with something many of us quietly carry, the urge to blame our own parents for the lives we've lived. It's easy to say, if only my father had worked harder, or if only my mother had been more supportive, my life would be different. I've heard these thoughts whispered with sadness, and I've felt them myself in quiet moments. But the truth is, our parents did the best they could with what they knew. They were flawed, they made mistakes, just like us. When we share these resentments with our children, it does more harm than we realize. We don't just tell a personal story, we teach a lesson. We say it's okay to carry resentment and to blame others for our unhappiness. And what message does that leave for our children? That one day they might be blamed too. That they might be expected to carry our emotional burdens. That's not the legacy we want. Instead, we can model forgiveness. We can say, they weren't perfect, but they loved me the best way they knew how. That grace doesn't erase the past, but it changes it. And by doing so, we free our children from heavy blame and give them a lighter future. Another thing we often feel tempted to share, especially when frustrated, is disappointment in our spouse. Maybe you've been married for decades, and let's be honest, marriage isn't always easy. There are hard nights, sharp words, and disappointments piled up like forgotten letters. But these feelings, as real as they are, don't need to be aired in front of our children. You might think, they're grown and will understand. Maybe they do, but understanding doesn't mean it won't hurt. When we say things like, I could have done better, or I wasted my good years, even in passing, we shake the foundation our children built their family on. Whether they're 6 or 60, children want to believe in the love that raised them. When we chip away at that belief, it leaves them confused, unsettled, and sometimes even guilty for not seeing our unhappiness. We forget that our spouse is not just our partner, they are also our child's other parent. Speaking poorly of them, even subtly, puts our children in tough emotional spots. Should they defend one parent? Should they stay silent? Do they carry that tension into their own relationships? None of these outcomes are fair. Instead, we can choose to remember the good times, the laughter, the teamwork. Maybe your partner wasn't perfect, but maybe they were kind, hardworking, or steady when you needed them most. A simple sentence like, we had struggles, but we loved each other, can keep dignity alive, tell the truth, and protect your child's heart all at once. While we're on the topic of children, there's something else worth mentioning: comparisons. Especially when we have more than one child, it's easy to fall into this trap. Maybe one child is thriving while another seems lost. Maybe one calls every week and the other drifts away. Without meaning to, we let words slip. Your sister always remembered my birthday. Or, why can't you be more like your brother? It's never said to hurt, but it wounds deeply. Even the child we praise feels pressure to always meet that high standard. And the child who is compared may pull away quietly, convinced your love must be earned, not simply given. The closeness between siblings can break down, replaced by jealousy, hurt, and silence. But you and I both know every child is their own story, their own struggles and triumphs. One might take longer to find their path, another might make more mistakes, but each deserves love without measuring or scoring. When we speak to them, let our words reflect who they are, not who they are not. Say, "I see how hard you're trying," or "You have such a good heart." These words don't just affirm. As we think about these things, you might remember moments you wish you could take back, things you wish you hadn't said, or wished you had said differently. That's okay. The beauty of this stage in life is that we're still learning, still choosing. Right now, in this very moment, we can start again with more kindness, more understanding, and more care. Take a deep breath with me. There's more to explore, more to reflect on, but for now, just sit with this. Silence, when chosen with love, can say so much. The things we keep close, held with tenderness and wisdom, might be the greatest gifts we ever give. It's a quiet realization that comes with age, that peace isn't always found in what we say, but in what we choose not to say. As we continue, just you and me, let's gently explore a few more truths. These are deeply human, but sometimes better kept quietly in our hearts. Heal. One habit many of us slip into without realizing it is focusing too much on the negative parts of life. Growing older isn't always easy. Our bodies change, routines shift, loved ones pass away, and sometimes the world feels like it's moving too fast without us. It's natural to feel frustrated, even bitter at times. But when our words become a constant stream of complaints about aches, about the state of the world, about what we've lost, it doesn't just weigh us down. It also burdens those around us, especially our children. They listen. Even when we think they're too busy or distracted, they hear the sadness, the disappointment, the despair hidden between our everyday words. And though they might not say it, it hurts them. It makes them worried. There's also the challenge of depending on our children emotionally or financially as we get older. When we rely too much on them, it creates a quiet pressure that can strain even the strongest bonds. Our children may never say it out loud, but they feel it, they worry. They might feel guilty for not doing enough or resentful for doing too much. And we feel it too, the creeping sense of losing independence, of being a burden. No one wants to feel like a burden. Here's the truth. Needing help isn't weakness. It's how we ask that matters most. If the time comes when you need to lean on your children, do it with honesty and without expectation. Say something like, "This is hard for me to ask," or "Please help only if it doesn't interfere with your own plans." Let them feel free to say yes, no, or somewhere in between. If you can, take steps now, no matter how small, to protect your independence. Maybe talk with a financial advisor, revisit your budget, or be honest with yourself about what you need. Our children deserve to live their lives without the weight of our unspoken expectations. And we deserve dignity, knowing we asked for help only when love, not duty, carried the request. Now, let's talk about something very personal, our health. As we grow older, doctor visits become more frequent. We start feeling things we've never noticed before, both physically and emotionally. It can be scary, and it's natural to want to share what's happening with our children. We want them to know what's going on. We want someone to listen. But there's a delicate balance to find. Oversharing every ache, every appointment, every worry can be exhausting, not just for us, but for them too. They love us and worry about us. When they constantly hear about what hurts or what might be wrong, it can make them feel helpless, as if they're failing us even when there's nothing they can do. That doesn't mean we should hide serious health concerns. Of course not. Our children deserve to be part of important decisions about our care and well-being. But maybe we don't need to mention every little pain or restless night. Some things can stay between us and our doctors, or even just within ourselves, unless it truly needs to be shared. Instead, we can give our children reassurance. Saying something simple like, "I'm taking good care of myself," or "There's nothing urgent, just keeping an eye on it," can bring them peace without hiding the truth. That balance between honesty and protection is one of the quiet gifts of aging. Finally, perhaps the most powerful gift we can give our children is the freedom to live their own lives, free from guilt. As we age, our need for closeness grows. We long for visits, calls, and the comfort of familiar voices. But our children have their own paths now, their own families, jobs, worries, and dreams. It's hard to watch them drift into their own worlds. But that distance doesn't mean they love us less. It means they're becoming who they need to be. When we encourage their independence, even when it makes us feel lonely, we're saying, I love you enough to let you go. We're saying they don't owe us their time, but we cherish it when they give it. We free them from guilt and invite them to come back out of love, not obligation. Isn't that what we want? A relationship that feels light, joyful, and unconditional. One where they know we're okay, even when they can't be there. Where they trust us to live well and love deeply, and come home when it matters most. These choices to stay silent out of love, to speak only what heals, to release rather than hold tightly, aren't easy. But they are powerful. They say, I trust you. They say, I've lived enough to know what really matters. So take a breath. Let these truths settle quietly in your heart. You're not alone on this journey. Your wisdom, spoken or not, has more impact than you realize. There's a kind of strength that only comes with time. Not the strength of muscles or speed, but the quiet strength to let go, to choose kindness over correction. You don't need to explain every hard feeling to your children. You've lived a full life, full of surprises, mistakes, and moments that didn't go as planned. It's tempting to want to share it all. But your children are not your confessional. They are the next chapter. They deserve to know you, but there's a difference between being open and oversharing. Some truths, especially the sorrowful or full of regret, are better kept in private reflection. Not because we hide, but because we protect. Because they will have their own worries and regrets someday. We don't need to pass ours on. Instead, we offer them perspective, the wisdom of someone who faced hardship and still chooses hope. The grace of someone who doesn't need to be fully understood to be deeply loved. We can say, life isn't always easy, but it's still worth it. And you don't have to fix the past to have a beautiful future. These simple words give them room to grow without carrying our unfinished grief. And it's okay to keep some dreams just for yourself. Maybe you wanted to write a book, travel alone, or paint again. Maybe those dreams feel far away, but they're still yours. You don't have to explain why they didn't happen or apologize for the life you lived. You get to be proud for surviving, loving, and learning. Too often we think aging means fading away, but that's not true. You're still here. You're still becoming. Even in quiet moments, you shape the world around you and the world your children carry forward. So, what should we tell them? If not complaints, regrets, or comparisons, then what? Tell them they are loved. Tell them they are enough. Tell them you trust their judgment. Tell them you see their efforts, and that even when they fall short, you're proud. Let your words lift them, not weigh them down. Let your silence be a shield, not a wall. And if you must speak of pain, let it lead to healing, not guilt. We are the bridge between generations, the roots from which their lives grow. What we say or don't say becomes the soil that shapes their future. If this message touched you, take a moment and breathe. Maybe there are things you wish you hadn't said before. That's okay. Maybe there are things you still want to say. That's okay too. Every day is a chance to begin again, with more gentleness, purpose, and presence. You're not alone. Thousands walk this path of aging, love, family, and change. You're not behind or forgotten. You're exactly where you need to be, growing in a new way. If this video brought you peace or inspiration, please leave a comment below. Just a simple yes if you found comfort here, or share your story if you want. Because healing often comes from knowing someone else understands. If this message helped you, please like and subscribe for more gentle conversations. Here's to living our later years, not in silence, but in loving silence. In words that heal, choices that protect, and love that doesn't need to be spoken to be felt. And in the quiet courage to let go of what no longer serves us, making room for what still can. You've done more than enough. You are more than enough. Your quiet, loving presence is a legacy in itself. Here's to living your best life at any age.